I've been asked by a lot of clients lately, what does a seller's market mean to me? And that's coming from buyers and from sellers. So let's talk about that here. So first off, I want to show you a chart, and that's popping up right here. And that shows what an average market would be. And according to the National Association of Realtors and other sources, you can see on this chart that basically somewhere between, say, 5.5 and 7 months would be a neutral market. What that means is that there's equal sellers versus equal buyers. So there's no competitive advantage for either party. Now, what we're looking at right now is a very strong seller's market. That means the inventory is very low. Nationwide, the National Association of Realtors is saying that the average time a house sits on the market right now is about 2 months. Now, this chart right here shows here in Portland, Oregon at 1 month, but that's actually everything, including downtown condos and stuff, which are fairly slow right now. So when we look at the average selling time for a normal house, a detached house in Portland, we're looking at about anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, absolutely maximum. 2 to 3 weeks. And remember, I said between 5.5 to 7 months is kind of considered a neutral market. So obviously, the sellers are holding all the cards. Now, by the way, what does a buyer's market look like? Well, take a look at this slide. This is from the very same publication here in Portland, Oregon. And this was in 2008, December 2008. And you can see over 14 months of supply of homes. Obviously, the buyers drove that market. It was a buyer's market. You could write offers on all the houses that you want. You could get the prices down with no problem, and the sellers had no advantage. So again, getting back to what we're going here is that this is a seller's market. So what does this mean to you for the two different types of people? Well, number one, if you're a seller, it's obviously a great place to be because you're going to have buyers scrambling all over your house. There's things that you can say, I get this all the time. Hey, Rob, should I fix up my kitchen? Should I do this? You can get away without doing a whole lot of things right now because it's an extremely competitive market as far as the number of buyers that will be looking at your house. So there's a very good chance you could end up with multiple offers, and there's also a very good chance that your asking price could be kind of like a reserve in an auction and it could bid up. We've had that happen quite often. So given that's the case, obviously that's very good for you as a seller's market. But what about you as a buyer? What if we're looking to buy a house? Should I buy now? Well, there's a couple of things to consider. Number one is that the incredibly low interest rates are still here. Yeah, I know they've crept up a little bit. They were around 2.5 and now they're a little over 3, but that's still historically incredibly low. When we look at the average interest rate over the years, has been quite a bit more than that. So right now there's a competitive advantage to buy for you, but there's one thing that people don't talk about a lot, and that's appreciation. Because of the low inventory, which is predicted that the low inventory is going to stay, mostly because the home builders have not kept up with things, because of things like lumber prices, right now lumber prices are running about 300% higher than their previous peak, which was just in 2018. The cost of new construction is going to get higher, and that's obviously going to be passed along to the buyers. So therefore, it's probably going to stay in a seller's market for some time to come. So should I be concerned as a buyer about getting into that market? Well, like I just said, the interest rates are a competitive advantage, but here's the really interesting thing, and that's appreciation. When we look at what's happened in 2020, and in 2020 we didn't really know what was going to happen, obviously houses went up in price. But the average appreciation for a house in America is $26,300. The average appreciation for a house in the Portland metropolitan area and Oregon as a whole is actually $32,000 and $55,000 in states like California. So if you had bought a house last spring, let's say in Oregon, you'd be $32,000 ahead of the game right now. And for a lot of people, that's an entire year's worth of mortgage payments. And that's on the average house, by the way. So several things to consider. They don't necessarily hurt you. It is not necessarily bad to be a buyer in a seller's market or a seller in a buyer's market. And that's kind of what's going on right now. Now, if you've got any questions about any of this, my team and I have been doing this since 1988. We've seen lots of sellers markets, lots of buyers markets. We've learned some little tricks and advantages to help buyers get offers accepted in sellers markets. So give us a call. The information is below. And by the way, before I start sharing that, please, if you click on subscribe to my videos, I'd love it. And I'd also love for you to share them with your friends. But contact us at the numbers below at roblevy.com or 503-906-1444. And we'd be happy to talk to you about it. And thanks so much for always watching my videos.